The OnePlus 13 is out now in China, and this is a very interesting launch. It's made all the more important by the fact that OnePlus usually goes global without any major hardware changes. So what does the new OnePlus 13 bring to the table? In this video, let's quickly get this phone unboxed and find out. If this is your first time here, or in case you just can't remember, my name's Ash, you're watching C4E Tech, and let's get started. We've got a typical red OnePlus box here with the OnePlus and Hasselblad logos up top. This time I went ahead and got myself a 16512 version because that's the cheapest SKU sold offline in China, and that was the quickest way for me to get a OnePlus 13. This year the base is still 12256. Anyways, once you remove the plastic and open the box, you're gonna see this black never settle insert. This houses a SIM ejector tool, a leaflet, a color match soft case which has a Hasselblad logo to the back just like on the phone. I found it a little weird that we didn't get OnePlus and never settle stickers this time. Anyways, let's now get to the OnePlus 13 itself, remove it from its protective cover. Guys, here with this phone, I think I picked up the best looking SKU this time, the blue with the vegan leather back. It looks and feels great, and this vegan leather here, it feels a little different from your typical vegan leather finishes, as in it's a little soft to touch, and it also almost has a kind of sort of velvety feel to it. Now apart from this, OnePlus offers this phone in black and white, and both of them come with glass packs. It's worth noting that the vegan leather blue is slightly thicker at 8.8 millimeters, but also happens to be 3 grams lighter. Now anyone else find it super weird that this year OnePlus is not launching a green version? I think things got lost in translation. OnePlus, if you're watching, let me clear it up for you. We said we didn't want the green line, not the green SKU. Now stupid jokes aside, the back and the glass, they're both almost flat with just 2.5D curves at the extreme corners. While it's not a huge curve, it still helps with the ergonomics, and the OnePlus 13 does feel quite comfortable in hand. There's an IP68, IP69 rating for dust and water resistance, and the main design change this year is with this camera array. OnePlus have gotten rid of that metal area connecting the camera to the sides, so what we end up with is a camera array that's off-center with a line here and the Hasselblad logo. I don't know, what do you guys feel about this design? Personally, I don't know, I did like that metal. I feel it gave a unique look for OnePlus devices, made them easily identifiable. It kinda did give the phone character. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this design? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, moving on, like with the Find X8 Pro, the OnePlus 13 is also using an inverted prism design for its periscope camera to make this camera array slimmer than what it used to be. Now, we will talk about all the camera features in detail. We will get to it in just a bit. For now, let's move on to what's on the side. The alert slider, it returns. It's a little smaller this time, but it's still tactile and easy to use. Now, when you toggle the different modes, it now shows up around the selfie camera in a dynamic island of sorts. Now, I don't particularly have any strong feelings about this. What do you think? Now, coming back to the box, let's wrap things up. We have the typical OnePlus red cable, USB Type-A to Type-C, and finally, there is a 100-watt SuperVOOC charger. Like with most phones being launched right now, the OnePlus 13 comes with a high-capacity battery, 6000 mAh, and the included 100-watt SuperVOOC charger. It's supposed to get you to 50% in 13 minutes and 100% in 36, which is rapid fast. There's also support for wireless charging at up to 50 watts. Now the display, as you can see here, it's mostly flat with a sharp 2.5D curve at the very edge on all 4 sides. Now this is a large 6.82-inch Fluid AMOLED panel with a 2K resolution, meaning the pixel density is 510 pixels per inch, very sharp. It's covered by Crystal Shield super ceramic glass, which OnePlus claims is more resistant to drops than Victus 2. The refresh rate here is 120Hz, and there's support for 80 LTPO to let you vary it as needed. From a brightness perspective, OnePlus is advertising 4500 nits, but that's for HDR. Yes, there is support for both HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision. In my testing, this panel output over 800 nits under manual mode and 1700 nits under auto, which is plenty bright for outdoor usage. Under low light, for those sensitive to flicker, OnePlus provides multiple options for eye protection, and you can also use this display when your hands are wet, which is nice given that IP69 rating. Now under this display sits an ultrasonic fingerprint reader. It's very fast, it's very accurate, and for once I really like the placement. No need for any finger gymnastics, you can easily hit it, the positioning is just right. And there is also support for Wi-Fi 7. You can use the entire phone for NFC, not just one area to the back. That's something they've improved. The Type-C port is USB 3.2 Gen 1. There's an IR blaster included too if you want to control appliances around the house. And then there are stereo speakers that are pretty loud and rich to enhance the experience regardless of if you're watching videos or playing games. Now, talking about gaming, this phone is powered by the latest Snapdragon 8 Elite, the most powerful SoC on the Android side of things. If you're wondering how does that stack up to MediaTek's Dimensity 9400, I've done a detailed video on it. I'll leave a card to that video here. Do check it out. Basically, the 8 Elite, it brings with it Qualcomm's own custom Orion cores and a major jump in performance from the 8 Gen 3. That said, this chip does seem to be difficult to cool. The OnePlus 13, it has a tendency to get hot when you're continuously gaming, and the stress test results, they were nothing to write home about. But do know that even at its worst, the 8 Elite is still running at the level of an 8 Gen 2, so gaming for the most part seems to be fine. OnePlus provides options to boost the resolution and frame rates at the same time now, along with access to detailed Adreno GPU settings. Additionally, there is a large X-axis linear motor included for haptics. This improves the overall gaming experience considerably. So despite the throttling, the OnePlus 13, it seems to do reasonably well for gaming. Now, the 8 Elite chip on the inside is paired with 12, 16 or a whopping 24 gigs of LPDDR5X RAM, along with 256, 512 gigs or up to a full terabyte of UFS 4.0 storage. Now, when this phone launches globally, it's going to be running on Oxygen OS, but right now in China, it ships with ColorOS 15. Now, there's not a lot of new things for me to talk about with ColorOS 15 here, since I just about covered it on my Oppo Find X8 Pro video. So I'll leave a card to that video too if you want to check it out. Now, what I can say is here on the OnePlus 13, the interface, it felt super fast, super responsive, apps opened up quick, and I faced no lag. OnePlus have already promised 4 years of Android version updates and 5 years of security patches for their phones, so there is some transparency there. And given this is 2024, there's also a whole lot of focus on AI, especially when it comes to cameras. Now, it's pretty much what we saw with the Find X8 Pro. You have AI Eraser that removes objects from an image after the shot's taken. You can upscale images or remove blur. There's also an option to remove reflections, say when you're shooting through a window. Now this, I actually got better results on the OnePlus 13 than I did with the Find X8 Pro. Now, one difference I noticed is that all these AI features, they felt a tad snappier on the OnePlus 13 compared to the Find X8 Pro. Anyways, moving on to the cameras, there are 3 sensors to the back. All 3 are 50 megapixels. The primary remains unchanged. It's still Sony's Light 808, a 1x1.4 inch sensor that's been paired with an optically stabilized f1.6 lens. Now, while the sensor remains unchanged, the new ISP does seem to have improved the performance a little. Under good lighting, the images, as you can see, they turned out great with a whole lot of detail. And even when you compare it with something like the iPhone 16 Pro Max, you can see the OnePlus 13 holds its own. The iPhone really only does better with the dynamic range. Images shot by the OnePlus 13, they just didn't have the same amount of detail in the shadows. Now, talking about the iPhone, the OnePlus 13 also features a similar live photos option, 1.5 seconds of video captured before and after the shutter key is pressed. And the new soft light portrait options from the Find X8 Pro, they also make their way over to the OnePlus 13. And even the ability to shoot 4K 60 HDR video via all sensors. Regular 4K 60 footage was also very good, detailed and stable with natural colors. Under low light, the OnePlus 13 continued to impress. Images turned out very nice, detailed with low noise, excellent colors. There were rarely any blown out highlights. Once again, the processing for highlight control, it was excellent here. Just see this. It's not just with the primary, the processing's the same regardless of which sensor you're using. Now the secondary, another 50 megapixel sensor, but this time paired with an ultra-wide lens, it does fairly well too. This one has autofocus and thus pulls double duty for macros, so you get shots like this. The third camera, once again 50 megapixels, this time paired with a periscope telephoto lens which allows for 3x optical zoom. It's got a f2.6 aperture and the lens is optically stabilized. The images turned out great, 3x, 6x, and actually when you keep zooming in and you hit the 60x mark, AI telephoto kicks in, and here's where the OnePlus 13 uses AI to clean up the image. It does a surprisingly good job. Now I'd say this, again, I found it a tad better than what we saw on the Find X8 Pro, given that that has a proper 6x telephoto lens. We can also shoot 4K 60 via the unchanged 32 megapixel selfie camera, which does a great job with stills too. It captures detailed selfies with accurate skin tones and on-point edge detection for portraits. Now the OnePlus 13 starts at 4499 RMB in China, which converts to about 53,000 rupees Indian or $630 US. Of course, that's gonna change when it launches globally. Now if you look at it in China, the OnePlus 13's launch price is about 5% higher than what it was for the OnePlus 12. So if you take the OnePlus 12's launch price in your market and add 5% to that, that could be what the OnePlus 13 launches at in your market. So what do you think about this phone? Do you feel it's a great upgrade? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your time. Ash out.